From what I've seen, a lot of the applications that the craft beer industry uses is kind of lacking in dashboarding and data visualization. And this makes sense because these softwares have spent most of their development time elsewhere, and they just haven't been able to get to what they really need to be able to do with data visualization. One thing that's really cool is a new solution from Tableau called Embedded Analytics. And what this does is it allows you to take all the power of the Tableau platform and embed it right in your application. So your users can get that world-class data visualization experience and be able to quickly get them to the actionable insights they need to drive their business. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. First great benefit is just the time to value. We can get this embedded in your application in a matter of weeks. So it really cuts out all the heavy lifting that your team would have to do trying to build this from ground up. Second, it's a real seamless integration. So your users have the same look and feel of the rest of your website, but they're getting the power of Tableau. Also, it meshes really nicely with your tech stack. So all the authentication and permissions are all seamless. It's a really nice, trusted environment. Third, you get all the great benefits of Tableau research and development when it comes to advanced analytics. That includes their two brand new AI applications, Pulse and Copilot, which are really cool. And then everything else that they're going to be releasing in this space in the coming years. It's going to be amazing. Another great benefit for you is it might open up additional revenue streams for your app, right? You could maybe offer up an advanced analytics section for an upcharge or do some benchmarking so they're able to compare how their brewery performs against others in their space. And what it's really going to do also is because you have access now to Tableau and all of your great data, it's going to help set you apart as a thought leader in this space. But instead of me just talking about it, let's go take a look at what embedded analytics could look like in your application. Great, so now we're going to take a look at a really quick demo of how Tableau's embedded analytics works. At the end, I'll go through a little bit more how the authentication and like row level security and all that great stuff to keep the data safe and protected is. Right now, let me just give you a quick run through of some of the possibilities of what you can do with embedded analytics directly in your application. First up, we're going to be looking at Tableau Pulse, which is their brand new AI solution, which its purpose is really to surface and communicate insights in real time. I think it's going to be a great fit for the craft brewing industry to be able to pick up these different insights. You can see they try to use a mixture of normal language, like in this paragraph up here, and also data visualizations in order to get these insights across. And they do a really good job at that. On this little demo, I have it watching 7 different metrics. I'll just kind of scroll through. These are all taproom related, and you can kind of see what those are. And what it's doing is it's picking out what it thinks is most important for somebody to know about that day. And then if a brewery leader is looking at this and they want to deep dive any of these, all they need to do is click on the little card. So you'll see as this starts to come up, now we're going to be able to deep dive a little bit further into any of these topics, right? So we're going to see a little bit more trending information. It's going to give more description. And then one cool thing it's trying to do is help people ask questions of their data. So we can see how that's going on here. We can see what has decreased the most, maybe what is actually doing well. If we wanted to, we could really ask certain questions like what brand has decreased the most? And you can see here, sorry, it's trying to autofill. It'll give you some options there that you can choose from. So we can really quickly see overall how is our trend doing, and then with just a few clicks, get down to some insights that we can start to action with the team. So that's Tableau Pulse, really cool solution. I could certainly go into it further. We're just going to leave it at that today. And then as we're scrolling down through this page, think about how some of these different analytics could be embedded in different parts of your application, right? I have it all on a single page like this. You wouldn't need to do that. You could spread it all throughout your app. Here's another solution that I think is pretty cool, is we can have kind of a high level overview of different data visualizations. In this case, we're looking at a labor cost breakdown. So we're giving everybody the important statistics, how things are trending, how they're performing over time. And then right next to it, we can give them some different options to quickly deep dive and get to some more information. So you can see in this case, if I wanted to look at it by day of the week, we could break it down really easily that way. If they wanted to look at even more detail on how it's showing in each individual day of the week, they could click that. So we're not giving it to them all at once. We're not overwhelming people. We're giving them what's most critical and then allowing them to really quickly get to the next level or two down. So I think that's another really cool capability about some of these embedded analytics. Okay, moving through, I'm going to show what would look more like a landing page. In this case, this is hooked up to VIP data, which might not necessarily be running through your application. I just wanted to show you a little bit more about the functionality of Tableau data visualization. So there's a lot of point and click functionality here. So let's say, for example, Hazy IPAs is down quite a bit. It's as easy as clicking on there. You'll see the rest of the dashboard rendered down accordingly. So now if somebody also wanted to see, well, how is it performing in liquor and package stores? They just click there and it's going to render everything down again, right? So a great way to get people high level information and with just a few clicks of the mouse, again, get down to those really actionable insights. And then quickly for them to navigate to any other part of their business that they want insights on. So you can see now I'm looking at all my customers segmented into different categories. I'm not going to go through this next section now, but we could load a lot of taproom analytics in there. Really anything that your app is currently tracking, we could have these types of interactive dashboards spread all throughout so your users can really quickly get to those actionable insights. I think this is a really great solution. And what it allows is instead of your team having to build out all this stuff on your own, you can use the power of Tableau's platform that they've spent 20 years building and tens of millions of dollars in R&D. That doesn't need to be your spend. Use what they've already done, and let's just get it directly in your app using your data. There's just a few more things I want to mention on this quick demo. One is these advanced features that you're able to get if you're using Tableau's platform. And the first one we kind of covered, and that was related to their new AI solutions, mainly being Pulse. And that was the first part that we reviewed in the demo. And the idea of that, again, is to surface and clearly communicate insights in real time. So get your users really focused on what's most critical driving the performance of their business. And then next up is Copilot. And what that's going to do is help users both generate and kind of ask questions of their data and get to these ad hoc insights without needing any sort of advanced data analysis skills. So really like a chatbot, think of it as a chatbot, a very advanced chatbot sitting on all of their data. So they're able to interact with that data in ways that they've never been able to before. And then the other thing to mention on this slide is there with the Tableau API, there's two-way communication. So what's really nice about that is basically depending on what a user is doing in the visualization, let's say they're filtering things a certain way and maybe using a parameter to set a date range. Well, that can also be passed back to your ERP data. So let's say you have a visualization sitting above a data table in a page, right? Whatever the person's doing up in the data viz is also being filtered accordingly down in the data table. So it's not like they need to interact with the data twice, once in the visualization and once in the raw data. And then we can always also provide this unique context menu, which I think is really cool. And what that can do is based on what somebody's doing in the data visualization, they'd be able to trigger a process, maybe they'd be able to fire off an email, or navigate somewhere else in your ERP system directly from the visualization, depending on what they're doing. So just another way to really seamlessly let these data visualizations interact with the rest of your system and make a really seamless process for your users. Okay, finally, I just want to spend a minute on authentication and how users and sites communicate with each other. I'm not going to go into much detail here, but you can see there's at the bottom, there's basically like a three-way relationship between Tableau, your web page, and your application. And what it's doing is communicating back and forth with people when people log on. And what's nice about this is it allows users that single sign-on capability, right? They sign into your ERP initially, or your system, and then they're automatically signed into Tableau. So it's not like they need to sign in twice. And then there's a really secure connection where we're dealing with secret keys, client IDs, and then we can also basically whitelist your specific domain to hit the Tableau page of all the information. So nobody else can kind of hack in and get to your information. It's really locked down to just allow your application to be able to get to it And then also we're setting row level security on the data, same as it would be in your platform, right? So if a user is only able to see brewery from ABC, then that's all they're able to see in Tableau also. Keeps everything real nice and secure. So you don't ever have to worry about people getting to data that they shouldn't be able to get their hands on. So it seems like a pretty great solution, right? Just to recap, we have the time to value. We could implement a system like this really quickly instead of you trying to build it all from scratch on your own. Second, it's a really seamless integration. It meshes really nicely with your tech stack, and your users has a look and feel of your application. So your users don't necessarily even know they're dealing with Tableau, but they get the power of that great solution. And then third, you get all the great advanced analytics capabilities from that Tableau is known for, including some of the new AI capabilities that are just being launched now, and then the great stuff they're going to have in the future also. So I'd love to talk with you and your team any more about this, answer any questions you have, do further demos. I can even bring some of your data into a system like this, and we can actually show what it would look like in embedded analytics. So please reach out and we'll chat soon. Thanks.